For years, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's breakup has been one of Hollywood's most talked about mysteries, a love story that began like a fairy tale and ended like a storm. Together, they were untouchable, the perfect couple, the global icons who seemed to have it all. But when their marriage collapsed, the world was left stunned, and full of questions. What really happened behind the cameras, behind the red carpets, behind the perfect smiles? After 8 long years of silence, Brad Pitt is finally ready to tell his side, and the truth is far more heartbreaking than anyone imagined. Now, after years of silence, Brad Pitt is finally breaking it, and what he's saying has reignited the world's fascination with one of Hollywood's most dramatic love stories. His words are raw, reflective, and deeply human. Was their split really about personal differences, or was there something darker beneath the surface, secrets the world never saw? He doesn't reveal everything, but what he does share changes everything we thought we knew about Brad and Angelina. The truth cuts deeper than anyone expected. To understand who Brad Pitt has become, we have to look back to where he started, far from the flashing lights of Hollywood. Born William Bradley Pitt on December 18, 1963, in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and raised in Springfield, Missouri, Brad's beginnings were humble, his world a far cry from red carpets and movie premieres. Yet even then, there was something magnetic about him, a quiet determination, an inner drive that refused to be ordinary. Raised in a grounded, hard-working family, Brad learned early that success doesn't come easy, it's earned. Those Midwestern values of discipline, humility, and grit would become the foundation for everything he achieved later in life. His journey from a small-town boy with big dreams to one of Hollywood's most celebrated stars is a story of resilience, reinvention, and an unrelenting pursuit of purpose, both on screen and within himself. In 1987, Brad Pitt made the bold decision that would change his life forever. He packed his bags, left everything behind, and headed to Los Angeles with nothing but ambition and a dream. The city wasn't kind at first. There was no red carpet waiting, no easy breaks. Instead, Brad found himself hustling through odd jobs, even dressing up as a fast food mascot just to pay the bills, all while taking acting lessons and chasing auditions that led mostly to closed doors. But failure never scared him. Each rejection only sharpened his resolve. Brad was determined to make it, no matter how long it took. Slowly, that persistence began to pay off. He started landing small roles, the kind most people forget, but they were everything to him. They gave him his first real taste of the camera, his first chance to prove that he belonged. That same year, he began appearing in television shows like Dallas and Growing Pains. The parts were brief, but his presence was undeniable. There was something magnetic about the way he carried himself, a quiet confidence that hinted at the star he was destined to become. While the world wasn't watching yet, Brad Pitt was already laying the groundwork for one of Hollywood's most remarkable rises, brick by brick, scene by scene, fueled by nothing but faith in his own potential. Everything transformed in 1991 when Pitt landed his pivotal role in Thelma and Louise. Portraying a charming drifter who briefly intersects with the film's main characters, Pitt captivated the audience's imagination in just a handful of scenes. His performance, though short, was powerful, instantly marking him as an emerging star. With this role, Pitt transitioned from relative anonymity to a figure that Hollywood was eager to keep an eye on. His rugged charm and natural screen presence turned him into an overnight sensation, making leading roles suddenly attainable. The early 1990s saw Pitt solidify his status as a serious actor. In 1992, he took on a role in A River Runs Through It, a film that showcased his capacity for more dramatic performances. The next year, he featured in California, demonstrating his versatility by taking on a darker, more intricate character. These choices illustrated that Pitt was not merely satisfied with being a Hollywood heartthrob, he sought recognition for his acting prowess. Both audiences and critics began to perceive him as more than just an up-and-coming star. He was swiftly evolving into a versatile and esteemed performer. By 1994, Pitt's career had ascended to new heights with 2 major films, Interview with the Vampire and Legends of the Fall. Both films garnered him critical acclaim and commercial success, solidifying his reputation as one of the most bankable stars of the decade. Legends of the Fall, in particular, established him as a household name, highlighting his ability to lead a major film and resonate with audiences on an emotional level. This era marked Pitt's complete emergence as a Hollywood leading man, capable of attracting crowds and receiving critical acclaim simultaneously. The momentum persisted in 1995 when Pitt starred in two of his most iconic films, 7 and 12 Monkeys. Say 7 marked a turning point in Brad Pitt's career, a chilling, unforgettable thriller that revealed the depth of his dramatic power. But it was 12 Monkeys that truly shattered expectations. In that role, Pitt disappeared into madness with such intensity that critics couldn't look away. His performance earned him a Golden Globe Award and his first Academy Award nomination, solidifying his place not just as a movie star, but as one of the most gifted actors of his generation. From 2006 to 2016, Pitt entered what many call the golden era of his career, a decade where everything he touched seemed to turn into cinematic gold. He delivered breathtaking performances in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, Inglourious Bastard, 2009, and Moneyball, 2011, each role proving his unmatched versatility and emotional range. But Pitt wasn't content with just being in front of the camera. Behind the scenes, his production company, Plan B, began reshaping Hollywood itself. It produced 12 Years a Slave, 2013, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and The Big Short, 2015, another critical triumph. These successes showed that Pitt wasn't just an actor chasing fame, he was a creative force pushing the industry forward. Then came 2019, and with it, one of the crowning achievements of his career. His portrayal of the laid-back stuntman Cliff Booth in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, a moment that symbolized decades of dedication, evolution, and mastery of his craft. It was largely regarded as a career-defining moment and showcased his charisma, depth, and ability to fully enter a character. Following decades of achievement, the honor symbolized not only his skill but also his perseverance in a field where it can be challenging to remain relevant. It was a defining accomplishment that cemented his legacy in Hollywood. Pitt hasn't shown any signs of slowing down as we enter the 2020s. He still appears in well-known movies like Bullet Train 2022, where he once again demonstrates his ability to strike a mix between humor, action, and depth. In the meantime, Plan B Entertainment continues to be a dominant force in the field, creating a variety of films that have received praise from critics and the box office. The traits that have always characterized Pitt are still evident in his career this decade. Adaptability, perseverance, and a dedication to narrative. Public scrutiny, custody disputes, and Brad Pitt's divorce. Throughout his career, Brad Pitt has received praise, accolades, and unquestionable success. However, in addition to his accomplishments, his private life has drawn a lot of media attention and controversy. Pitt's relationships, family life, and legal issues have garnered international attention, making him one of the most scrutinized Hollywood characters. These problems have not only influenced how the general public views him, but they have also highlighted the difficulties in juggling celebrity, private hardships, and family obligations while in the spotlight all the time. The juxtaposition between Pitt's public reputation as a well-respected actor and producer and the intensely intimate conflicts that have developed concurrently, frequently against his will, is what makes his situation so interesting. Pitt's marriage to Jennifer Aniston, which ended in 2005, was one of the most significant and widely reported periods of his personal life. Pitt and Aniston were seen as Hollywood's ideal pair at the time. Admired for what appears to be a steady and admirable relationship. Many others saw their union as evidence that enduring love could be found in the entertainment sector. The reality behind the scenes, however, was much more nuanced. Their separation rapidly became the subject of a tabloid storm, with many speculating that Pitt's developing romance with Angelina Jolie might have contributed to the breakup. The speculations were only made more intense by Pitt and Jolie's timing of working together on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which produced a storyline from which none of the parties could really break. All three made an effort to preserve some privacy and dignity, but the media extensively promoted the notion of a love triangle, with Aniston and Jolie frequently being contrasted in ways that eclipsed their respective careers. In addition to ending one of Hollywood's most admired marriages, Pitt's divorce paved the way for years of rumors, and incessant public debate on his personal decisions. Pitt and Angelina Jolie's union quickly rose to prominence as one of the most well-known partnerships in contemporary Hollywood history. They raised 6 children together, 3 biological and 3 adopted, and often portrayed themselves as a family, dedicated to both humanitarian endeavors and the entertainment business. They were frequently portrayed as a socially concerned power couple due to their international trips and humanitarian endeavors. Admired for promoting change with their influence. However, despite this well-preserved exterior, the couple had problems that finally caused it to fall apart dramatically and in front of the public. Jolie claimed irreconcilable differences when she filed for divorce in 2016. The couple, who had previously seemed to be together in both their personal and professional lives, abruptly parted, shocking the public and the entertainment business. In addition to a marriage ending, what followed was the start of one of the most intricate and drawn-out legal disputes Hollywood has ever witnessed. The main and most intensely emotional factor in Pitt and Jolie's split quickly became the custody battle over their 6 children. Every court update was keenly monitored by the media, which covered the family's purported disputes and tensions. Pitt saw the fight as involving much more than just legal rights. It involved negotiating a system under intense public scrutiny while continuing to be present and fulfill his responsibility as a father. Pitt appeared to make progress in 2021 when he was initially given joint custody of his kids, a ruling that gave him some hope for the future. But this triumph didn't last long. After concerns were raised regarding the judge's impartiality in the case, the decision was eventually overturned. This reversal kept Pitt and Jolie embroiled in a conflict that the media scrutinized at every opportunity, prolonging not just the custody battle but also Pitt's very public war. The well-known brawl on a private plane in 2016 was one instance that made the custody battle more complicated. According to reports, Pitt and his oldest son, Maddox, got into a violent altercation while flying, which prompted inquiries from the FBI and Child Protective Services. The severity of the accusations made the family's personal problems a global news story. The episode had a lasting impact even though Pitt was eventually exonerated of any abuse charges following extensive investigations. Pitt's public persona as a partner and father was called into doubt. Furthermore, the court of public opinion was significantly less forgiving even though the legal system found no evidence of misconduct. Additionally, the incident widened the gulf between Pitt and Jolie, escalating the already challenging legal and emotional disputes for both parties. Pitt has continuously struggled to manage his privacy in the face of constant public scrutiny, in addition to his romances, divorces, and custody disputes. He has been one of the most photographed celebrities worldwide since his ascent to popularity in the early 1990s. Every relationship, family vacation, and professional transition is chronicled in excruciating detail. His private life became public property because to tabloids and paparazzi, which frequently annoyed him. Pitt has voiced his displeasure with the absence of limits throughout the years, highlighting the harm that the continuous publicity may do to his children as well as to himself, who were never given the opportunity to grow up out of the spotlight. A recurring theme in his personal life has been the conflict between handling the demands of celebrity and ensuring his family's welfare. One that demonstrates how even the most well-known and prosperous people struggle to strike a balance between their personal and professional lives. Angelina Jolie's fame in Hollywood. After discussing Brad Pitt's background, professional background, and personal struggles, it is equally critical to focus on Angelina Jolie, who has left a distinctive and significant impact in Hollywood and beyond. Like Pitt, Jolie has become one of the most well-known people in the world through a combination of her well-known artistic accomplishments, personal hardships, and unwavering dedication to humanitarian causes. Her tale is not just one of fame but also one of tenacity and metamorphosis, illustrating how she has managed to juggle a well-known acting career with her commitment to international causes. Actors Jon Voight and Marceline Bertrand welcomed Angelina Jolie into the world on June 4, 1975, in Los Angeles, California. She was introduced to the world of acting and movies at a young age because her family was already involved in the entertainment business. However, because her parents divorced when she was a little child, her childhood was everything but easy. Nevertheless, Jolie entered the world of acting at a young age. She made her on-screen debut at the age of 7 in the 1982 movie Looking to Get Out, co-starring with her father. Although it would take years of perseverance before she became a star in her own right, this early encounter served as her introduction to the industry. Cyborg 2, a low-budget science fiction picture released in 1993, marked Jolie's professional film debut. Although the movie did not receive much praise, it was the beginning of her career. Her role in Hackers, which not only helped her become more well-known but also introduced her to her first husband, actor Johnny Lee Miller, came just 2 years later in 1995. Like a lot of the media took an interest in Jolie's private life. On the professional front, however, this was only the start of an extraordinary ascent. The late 1990s saw Jolie's breakout thanks to a string of strong performances that highlighted her abilities. Her performance as Cornelia Wallace in the television movie George Wallace, which showcased her talent to play difficult and tragic roles, earned her a Golden Globe in 1997. When she played supermodel Gia Karangi in HBO's Gia in 1998, this momentum maintained. She won another Golden Globe for her performance, which was highly praised, solidifying her status as one of the most promising actors of her generation. Jolie stood out due to her ability to portray complicated and disturbed characters, and reviewers soon acknowledged her as a powerful figure in Hollywood. With her performance as Lara Croft in Lara Croft Tomb Raider 2001, Jolie's career has expanded internationally by the early 2000s. She was first seen by people all around the world because of the worldwide success of the movie. She gained international recognition for her role as the daring video game heroine, solidifying her status as an action star. In 2003, she returned to the character in Lara Croft, The Cradle of Life, and she went on to play a variety of parts in movies like Alexander, Taking Lives, and Beyond Borders. She became one of the decade's most identifiable faces thanks to these movies, which demonstrated her versatility from emotionally taxing dramas to action-packed blockbusters. Jolie co-starred with Brad Pitt in the 2005 film Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a movie that garnered a lot of media attention in addition to commercial success. Since Pitt's marriage to Jennifer Aniston ended the same year, rumors of Jolie and Pitt having a love involvement immediately gained traction. Entertainment news were dominated by rumors about their private lives. Professionally, however, the movie strengthened Jolie's reputation as a major Hollywood star. Jolie began starring in more highly lauded films in the late 2000s, such as A Mighty Heart, 2007, in which she played journalist Daniel Pearl's wife, Marion Pearl. She received a lot of recognition for the nuance and complexity of her performance. She starred in Clint Eastwood's 2008 film Changeling, which earned her nominations for both the Academy Award and the Golden Globe. With roles in movies like Salt and The Tourist, 2010, both of which had successful box office runs, Jolie was able to hold on to her position as one of Hollywood's top actresses well into the 2000s. But she quickly started doing more than just acting. In The Land of Blood and Honey, a 2011 film on the Bosnian War, marked her directorial debut and showed her enthusiasm in taking on challenging, socially relevant issues. The 2014 movie Unbroken, which was praised by critics and nominated for several Academy Awards, was about World War II hero Louis Zamperini. After over 10 years together, Jolie married Brad Pitt in France that same year, 2014. They were already among the most well-known couples in Hollywood thanks to their romance. Her personal life appeared to enter a new phase with the marriage. However, citing irreconcilable differences, she filed for divorce in 2016, just 2 years later. With extensive media coverage, the divorce, which concerned custody of their 6 children, became one of Hollywood's most well-known splits. Despite the extensive media coverage of her personal struggles, Jolie persisted in her professional and charitable endeavors. With films like First They Killed My Father, 2017, which she directed, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, 2019, in which she played the renowned Disney villain once more, Jolie managed to juggle acting and directing between 2017 and 2020. These endeavors demonstrated her versatility, ranging from ambitious fantasy pictures to somber, politically tinged dramas. She once again demonstrated her ability to adjust to shifting industry trends while retaining her star power when she entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2021 for her role in Eternals. Beyond her cinematic career, Jolie's humanitarian endeavors have left a lasting legacy. She began working with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, in 2001 as a Goodwill Ambassador, and in 2012 she was elevated to the position of Special Envoy. A major aspect of her identity has been her dedication to humanitarian causes, especially in support of women's rights, education, and refugees. She has interacted with world leaders, made numerous trips to conflict areas, and continuously used her position to raise awareness of global issues. She has gained a lot of respect as a result of her advocacy, which has made her a prominent humanitarian voice in addition to being an actress. Jolie's controversies, chateau dispute, and custody fights. In addition to her skill and humanitarian efforts, Angelina Jolie's life and career have been characterized by well-publicized problems and scandals that have frequently put her at the forefront of international media attention. These incidents influenced how the public saw her, occasionally overshadowing her charity work and professional achievements. They also shone her ability to bounce back from setbacks, both private and public, frequently while being closely observed by the media. Jolie's tense relationship with her father, actor Jon Voight, was one of the first scandals in her personal life. Their relationship was difficult from the start, but when Voight publicly claimed that Jolie had what he called severe mental health issues in the early 2000s, tensions increased. This statement led to a major schism between the father and daughter, resulting in a highly public falling out that garnered international attention. For a number of years, Jolie kept her distance from him, even formally removing Voight from her name. Time eventually made reconciliation possible despite this tumultuous time, and the two later got back in touch. The subject of their troubled relationship kept coming up. In conversations of Jolie's personal hardships and familial background, demonstrating how very private matters can occasionally surface in public. Significant attention was also paid to Jolie's love connections, particularly when her marriages and romances were linked to public controversy. Her marriage to actor Billy Bob Thornton, which lasted from 2000 to 2003, was one of the most talked about partnerships in Hollywood due to the couple's unusual conduct as well as their intense romance. Their choice to wear vials of each other's blood around their necks, which captivated and perplexed the public, is the most notorious case. Some condemned it as strange and disturbing, while others viewed it as an expression of intense love. Even though the marriage ended in divorce, Jolie's early Hollywood career was shaped by the perception of their unusual connection. Another chapter of controversy that still surrounds Jolie and Pitt was added by the couple's final divorce in 2016. One of the most well-known divorces in contemporary Hollywood history resulted from their split. The custody dispute over their 6 children is another reason, in addition to their fame. A protracted judicial battle began when Jolie first requested sole custody and Pitt battled for shared custody. Reports of a 2016 private jet mishap involving Pitt and their son Maddox, which attracted significant media attention, further clouded the issue. Even though the incident specifics are still up for debate, it marked a sea change in their family's history. Custody decisions fluctuated throughout time, keeping the issue in the news and transforming it into a very private struggle that was publicly witnessed. Jolie and Pitt were also involved in the Chateau Miraval affair. The French chateau and vineyard had been bought by the couple while they were dating, but ownership of the property became the focus of a heated legal dispute after they split up. Jolie countersued, claiming that Pitt had committed both financial and emotional wrongdoing, after Pitt accused her of selling her share in the winery without his permission. The conflict brought to light the personal animosity that occasionally persists after a marriage ends, in addition to the financial difficulties of well-publicized divorces. For Jolie, this case was just another instance of how her private and professional lives frequently collided with high-profile court cases. Jolie's health choices put her at the forefront of public discourse in addition to her romances and legal issues. She revealed in 2013 that she had a prophylactic double mastectomy after discovering she had a gene mutation that greatly raised her risk of developing ovarian and breast cancer. She then underwent several cancer risk-related preventative procedures. Her candidness and bravery in discussing such a delicate subject were widely praised by the public, women's health advocates, and medical experts for these intensely personal decisions. They did, however, also provoke discussions over genetic testing, preventative surgery, and the wider health implications for women. Some questioned the impact of a celebrity's medical choices on public opinion, while others praised her openness. This debate demonstrated how Jolie's personal health decisions affected discussions about women's rights and medicine around the world, going much beyond her own life. She also received attention, and even criticism, for her position as a mother. After adopting Maddox, Zahara, and Pax from Cambodia, Ethiopia, and Vietnam, and then combining her family with Pitt's biological children, Shiloh, Knox, and Vivian, Jolie's family rose to prominence worldwide. While many commended her for her empathy and dedication to improving the lives of underprivileged children, others questioned international adoption methods and closely examined the adoption procedures. Critics argued about whether celebrities' international adoptions raised awareness of global issues or if they inadvertently exacerbated adoption's ethical issues. Furthermore, the media frequently analyzed her parenting style, including reporting and analysis on everything from her children's education to their public appearances. The double standard that famous parents frequently encounter, where their family decisions are seen as public property, was highlighted by these discussions. Regarding his divorce from Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt speaks up. Brad Pitt has officially discussed the completion of his divorce from Angelina Jolie, following years of rumors and silence. A procedure that took more than 8 years. Pitt's response to GQ's December 2024 question about if he felt relieved to be ending this protracted and agonizing chapter was surprisingly contemptuous. He minimized the importance of the legal resolution by saying, "No, I don't think it was that major of a thing. The divorce settlement was merely something that was about to happen to him." Given how protracted and widely reported the legal struggle had been, many people found his remarks to be understated from a legal standpoint. For Pitt, however, the protracted procedure seems to have been more about legalities than closure. But in the view of Angelina Jolie and her legal team, the divorce settlement was historic. The public was shocked when Jolie first filed for divorce in September 2016, claiming that she couldn't work out her differences. On the time, she and the couple's 6 children left the houses they shared with Pitt, beginning an extended duration of separation and conflict. While the agreement became in the end reached 8 years later, Jolie's attorney, James Simon, expressed the toll it had taken on her. Greater than 8 years in the past, Angelina filed for divorce from Mr. Pitt. She and the children left all of the houses that they had shared with Mr. Pitt, and since that point, she has focused on locating peace and restoration for his or her circle of relatives. He said in an announcement. He introduced that the legal decision turned into just a part of an extended ongoing manner that commenced 8 years in the past, noting that Jolie became exhausted however relieved this one element is over. One of the first-rate components of the agreement changed into Jolie's selection to waive any proper to get hold of spousal guide from Pitt completely. Prison filings confirmed that she had agreed to surrender this claim forever. This selection recommended that Jolie become greater focused on ending the protracted prison conflict and shifting ahead than on persevering with economic disputes. Given that both Pitt and Jolie have lengthy established and a success careers, the difficulty of spousal help may additionally have been much less of a situation than the emotional and familial effect of their cut-up. Nonetheless, the gesture introduced a finality to the criminal separation, making it clear that Jolie wanted to shut the chapter once and for all. The cease of the legal process did no longer erase the pain that accompanied their cut-up, particularly whilst it came to the kids. The former couple stalks 6 youngsters. Maddox now 23, Pax, 21, Zahara, 20, Shiloh, 19, and twins Knox and Vivian, 16. For years, the custody war among Pitt and Jolie had been one of the maximum contentious factors in their divorce, dominating headlines and preserving both dad and mom entangled in court hearings. Whilst custody disputes ultimately quieted, the emotional distance between Pitt and his children had become increasingly more visible. Reviews surfaced that none of the kids had been currently on talking phrases with their father, a painful truth for any figure to face. In reality, the state of affairs became greater public whilst a number of the youngsters started out distancing themselves from Pitt in a good more symbolic way by losing his final call. Remaining June, human beings reported that Pitt became deeply dissatisfied while his and Jolie's first organic daughter, Shiloh, formally eliminated Pitt from her call. For Pitt, this turned into a especially devastating moment. An insider informed the opening that he has by no means felt extra pleasure than whilst she became born. He usually wanted a daughter, highlighting the deep non-public ache at the back of this symbolic gesture. Shiloh's choice meditated no longer only a private preference, however additionally the strained dating between Pitt and his youngsters in the years following the divorce.